Are you guys coming back from lunch or from another class?
Lunch.
Lunch, okay. Okay guys, we'll start now. Listen. We're starting now. Thank you. Question? New student. I will get you a book shortly. Maybe in about half an hour I'll get you a book. But you can share for just now then. Is this your first day? Oh great, okay. Yes?
There's a question in the homework, the answer in the book is wrong.
Now you sure? Because that's a very strong claim to make.
I googled it. No, yes, sorry.
Okay. No, hang on. Let my accuser now speak for himself. Which page?
You may feel like you're finding it wrong. Page
What are you actually?
Question 3B.
3 what?
3B.
3B.
The answer is wrong.
That's very good change of language now. We've gone from it's wrong to
I googled
seems wrong.
I googled this.
Okay.
My answer was right, so I don't know.
Okay. Only because I'm so curious, I'll do this one now before we start, okay? So, listen, what page is this now?
14.
Page 14, 3B. Okay, 3B. X squared plus 6x minus 27 equals... Listen. No guys, I need you to be quiet now. I'm not going to talk over people. X squared plus 6x minus 27. Okay, let's see. So I need two numbers that multiply to make minus 27 and add to make... It has to be 9 and 3, doesn't it? X plus 9x minus 3.
No, but you have to complete the square.
Oh, sorry, complete the...
Yeah, you have to complete the square.
Oh, by completing the square solve it. Yeah, okay. Right, so... No, guys, please, no talking when I'm talking. X plus 3 squared. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. And then minus 27 minus 9 is minus 36, isn't it? So you get x plus 3 squared equals 36. So x plus 3 equals plus or minus 6. So it's minus 3 plus or minus 6. So that's minus 9 or 3.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, now I see what Google's wrong.
Yeah, why trust Google? Trust me, alright? Come on. Alright. No, it's good if you spot a mistake to mention it. But I'm dying to know, where did it go wrong for you?
I didn't actually root 36. I left it. That's just a mistake.
Oh, it's certainly that, yes, it's certainly that. Okay, let's have a look here. And the most important thing is if you think there's something wrong that you ask, and I'm confident you will never make that mistake in the exam now. Yeah. You can go home and write in your diary, you know. Dear diary, today I learned never to forget to take the square root. I know I'm joking, but seriously, it is good to bring attention to if you think there's a mistake. Okay. So, we'll continue now. What we're going to have a look at next is the quadratic formula. And some people were asking about this last week, I think, on whether or not you could use it. So, of course you can use it, and we'll have a look at it now. So, we're going to first prove the formula. We're going to see where the formula comes from. So, we'll start off ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And, of course, a is not 0. So, there's a lot to write if you can try and keep up. The first thing we'll do is we'll divide by a. So we'll have x squared plus b over a x plus c over a equals 0. Next, we'll complete the square. So what's the next thing now? If I'm completing the square. Yeah, so what would I write next? B over 2a, yeah. And then it's c over a minus the square of this, which is b squared over 4a squared, and that's equal to 0. Okay, so we'll take these two guys to the right. So we have x plus b over 2a squared equals b squared over 4a squared minus c over a.
Sorry,
Yeah?
before you continue,
Yeah.
then they ask us to prove?
No, they don't ask you to prove, but I like doing this proof because it's really good practice for completing the square. And although they don't ask you to prove this, there's something in this proof which I like, which is this step here. You see, usually when you're doing complete the square, you have an advantage because these are all numbers, so they're easy to do. Like if I said, for example, x squared plus 4x plus 1, it's easy to complete the square. Guys, please. It's easy to complete the square because you know that the middle number, you just have to half it. But if I said x squared plus kx plus 1, and I ask you to complete the square, it's actually a little bit harder now because you don't have numbers to half. So what I like about this proof is it really is good practice of completing the square, because the proof is basically to complete the square. Okay, so the next thing now, if you have this much, I'll just scroll down a little bit. I want to put these together. So I almost have them identical denominators. I'll just make a little bit of space here. I'll put a 4 here and a 4 here. And what else will I need to put in? An a. So I'll put in an a here and an a here to make 4a squared. So this is all over 4a squared, and this is b squared minus 4ac. And this is x plus b over 2a. Square root is the next thing. So I'll cancel that and put in a root. So now I have x plus b over 2a equals plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over root of 4a squared is 2a. So now I'll take this over to the right. I get x equals minus b over 2a plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. I think you can see what's going to happen. So the last thing now is just to put them together on the same line. X equals minus b plus or minus, square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that's the formula, which you all know. And the only condition, well, there's more than one condition, but for right now the only condition I'm saying is that a is not 0, because if it's 0 then it's not quadratic. So I'll just give you a minute. Like I said, this proof is a nice practice of completing the square as well. So if you can make sure you have this copied down in your notebook. Okay. You have this? You take it all down? Have this? Now, what we'll have a look at next is using the formula. So let's start with something. Let's scroll down a little bit. Can I scroll down? Yeah. Which line are you on? Last one? Oh, you know the last one. It's the formula. You learned it in school, yeah? Yeah. Continue. Okay. Right, so let's have a look at a few examples. So let's say 12x squared minus 32x plus 21. Now, I'll need the calculator open. Alright, so our formula. The A is 12 in this. The B is minus 32. And the C is 21. Yeah? So the formula is x equals minus b, which is minus minus 32, plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Well, that's easy on the bottom, that's 24, and minus minus 32 is 32. So what we need to figure out is what's inside the root, which I'll do now, which is 16 actually, which is nice because 16 will just be 32 plus or minus 4 over 24. So you get two answers, 36 over 24 or 28 over 24, if you do the plus and if you do the minus. So let's see, 36, that's 18 over 12. 3 over 2, is it? 3 over 2?
Yeah.
And then this is 14 over 12, 7 over 6. If you were to simplify it down, yeah. So there are the two answers for x. Now this one worked out nicely because here we had a 16. Yeah. What is the name of this type of number?
Perfect square?
Perfect square, yeah. Okay, let's do another example that's a little bit harder now. Can I scroll down? Yeah. Okay, next one. X squared minus 16x minus 14 no, not that one, sorry. X squared plus 8x plus 8. That's a little better. Okay. So again, we'll have, well actually, what's the a here? 1, yeah. B is 8, C is 8. So we have x equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we get there. So that is minus 8 plus or minus square root 32 over 2. Now 32 is not a perfect square, but we learned how to simplify that a couple of classes ago. 32 is 16, 2, which is 4, 4, 2, so it's going to be 4 root 2, isn't it? Yeah, 4 root 2? Minus 8 plus or minus 4 root 2 over 2. What is in common to these three numbers? 2. So we can divide them all by 2. So we get minus 4 plus or minus 2 root 2 over 1. Yeah? Is that okay? Yeah. Which is just minus 4 plus or minus 2 root 2 are the two answers. Okay, so this is giving your answer in surd form. Okay, write this one down. We'll do another example. Okay, you got that? Yeah? Okay, next. Now, before I do the next one, I just need to check in your chemistry class, did you learn about significant figures and decimal places? You did? So, if I said to you, for example, 24.123, and I want one significant figure, what would that be? 20. Yeah? If I said one decimal place, what would that be? 1. Good, okay. Let's give you a harder one now. If I said 0.026, and I said one significant figure. No, well, I heard some people say 0.02, which is wrong. 0.03. Yeah. What's the verb here for when you make this become 0.03? What's the round? Yeah. We round up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 0.01. One decimal place. Okay. Oh, okay. You got a good handle on it. So, what I'll let you do for a minute, I'll give you a quadratic, and I want the answer, and I'll tell you how accurately I want the answer. So, we'll say minus 8x squared plus 3x plus 0 equals 0, and I wanted one decimal place.
Do we have a specific method?
Quadratic formula. Only, yeah. Okay, are we getting answers? Yeah? So, look, I can just do it directly on the calculator, okay? So, I'll just type the formula in directly. Minus b, which is minus 8. Well, let's do the plus one first. Plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Minus b minus 3 minus 3.
Oh, sorry, thank you. 3 here, yeah? Okay. 0 is the first answer. So, to one decimal place, still 0. The second answer? Yeah, to one decimal place would be 0.4. Now, you have to be really careful in the exam because sometimes in these questions they will specify how many decimal places are significant figures, and you'll lose a mark if you don't give them the one they're looking for, okay? So here my answer is 0, and if you want to be very particular, you can say 0.0 or 0.4. This is one decimal place. Yeah? Okay, let me give you another one. Let me give you a hard one to try. Um, 3SS, solve. Now, it's a tricky one. You need to think about this for a minute if you haven't seen it before. x plus 1 squared plus 5 times x plus 1 minus 2 equals 0. And just so you know, you have a choice. There's two things you can do at the start to get this going. So you have a choice. So what you could do first, if you want, is to expand. And 2, I won't tell you. If you see it, you see it, and if you don't, you don't. I'll show you in a minute. So you have two choices. You can expand, or some of you might see another way forward. See what you can do with this one. I'll give you a minute to try. You have an answer? But you have an answer? But you're just not sure? Okay. Anyone else got an answer? Are you sure of your answer? Let's have a look. So I'll do it both ways. So the first thing you could do is you could say, well, this is just x plus 1 times x plus 1 plus 5 times x plus 1 minus 2 equals 0. You can expand. You'll get x squared plus x plus x plus 1 plus 5x plus 5 minus 2. So you get x squared plus 7x, what's that, plus 4, is it? 5 minus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4. It's 4, isn't it? Yeah? And if I use my formula, let's see what I get. Minus b plus or minus square root b squared, which is 49, minus 4ac all over 2a. Right. So, what did I say? Three significant figures. Minus 0.628 or let's see, yeah, what is it now? Minus 6.37. Now, I think there's two ways of doing this. Did anybody spot the second way? Yeah, go on. That's it, yeah. Well, you could make the substitution, let x plus 1 equal to y, u, whatever, but I feel like you can skip that step because the way I look at it is, this is like a quadratic, except, let me just write it in colour here. It's like a quadratic, except instead of x, you have x plus 1. Yeah, but I'm just saving the step of having to say u equals x plus 1 and then rewrite it with the substituted letter and then later have to replace it back. What I'm trying to say is, solve it as x plus 1. So you can see that it's a quadratic, but it's a quadratic in x plus 1. So I'll just write a quad in x plus 1. So x plus 1 equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I get x plus 1 equals minus 5 plus or minus square root 33 over 2. So I scratch out the 1 and bring it to the right. And now I have two answers to look at. So let's see. Minus 5, whoa, that's not right. Minus 5 plus square root 33 over 2, yeah? Minus 1. Now you see that's that one. And the only difference in the second answer is this one should be a minus. And that's that one. So you see you get the same. But what I like about this one is you can jump straight to this step. So you'll have 1, 2, done. Whereas here you'll have to expand and you've got 3 steps. And if you do your substitution, let u equals, yeah, it's 3 steps again. So if you can spot that something's a quadratic, just say it's a quadratic and get the answer. Question I saw? No?
Yeah.
Yep.
So if we make like x plus 1 equal y, that's fine.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's one extra step. Yeah. To me, it's not really a necessary step because it's obviously quadratic. It's just this is the variable. So, like, if you put in a y, I don't know. To me, that's as obvious it's a quadratic as this one is.
It is obvious, but I will make a stupid mistake.
Exactly.
Okay, if this
I
is
can
what.
forget about the one and
Okay, well, if this is what you prefer, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So, write this one down, please. But I wanted to show you that you got the same answer each way. Doesn't matter. You can, yeah, anyone. Yeah. You like this one on the left, I'd imagine. Question? I'm not ready for questions yet. Sit back down.
Oh, sorry.
In 2 minutes.
He said write it down, so I just wanted to.
Oh yeah, no, I can come down and have a look. Go ahead, Jack. Okay, so I'll give you some of these to try. They're not very difficult. In the exam for semester 1, you're not going to get something as difficult as this in the semester 1 exam. Okay. Well, for semester 1, it's sometimes what they like to do is give you this one where you have to be careful with your rounding, and sometimes they like to give you this one where you have to use a surd. They don't usually do it so that it works out nicely. I mean, sometimes they do, like here. Sometimes they do. Okay. Write this down. Let me see. Yeah, let's just stick with first and last. 1, 2, 3. 4 and 5. Only do it if you're bored. 1, 2, 3, first and last, and 4 and 5 if you're bored. Yeah, 1A, 1Z, 2A, 2O, 3A, 3Z, and 4 and 5 are optional. Can I close this?